Okay, when I have binomials and I'm solving, I'm going to put my binomials in parentheses. And I need to find my LCD, which is one of each family. So I've got a u plus 7 and a u plus 3. Once you find that, you put that with each term. So u plus 7 times u plus 3, u plus 7 times u plus 3, u plus 7 times u plus 3. Okay, top families cancel with bottom if it's a fraction and it's the same thing. So u plus 7 cancels with u plus 7. So that gives me u plus 5 times u plus 3. So I'm going to come down here and find that. U plus 5 times u plus 3. You square the first term. You add the constants. 5 plus 3 is 8. Put the u with that. And then you multiply the constants. 5 times 3 is 15. Now you can only use that trick if u doesn't have a number in front of it. So this first term is, let me write it down here a little bit. I'll give myself some space to work. U squared plus 8u plus 15. Now I do this term. So 1 times anything is just that, whatever it is. So let's figure out what u plus 7 times u plus 3 is. You have the first term squared. You add your constants. 7 plus 3 is 10. Put the u with that. Then you multiply your constants. 7 times 3 is 21. So that comes down here with this. So positive u squared, positive 10u, positive 21. See, right now I didn't give myself enough room to work. Equal sign. Now I've got to figure this out. And u plus 3 on the top cancels with u plus 3 on the bottom. So I've got u plus 6 times u plus 7. Square the first term, u squared. Add the constants. 6 plus 7 is 13, and that's a u. And multiply the constants. 6 times 7 is 42. U squared plus 13u plus 42. Okay, before I start combining like terms, if something's on one side the same as the other side of the equal sign, they actually cancel each other out. So this u squared can cancel with this u squared, and that makes it a little bit easier. In front of my equal sign, I've got u squareds. For my u's, I've got 8 plus 10 is 18u. My constant is 15 plus 21 is a positive 36. Equals 13u plus 42. Okay, I need to leave the u squared positive, so it already is. Leave it alone. So everything on the other side of the equal sign, you've got to get with that. So you do opposites. The opposite of positive 13u is negative 13u, so you put that here. The opposite of positive 42 is negative 42, so that goes here. So that gives me u squared. 18 take away 13 is 5u. 36 take away 42 is a negative 14. No. Come out here. Sorry about that. 6. Equals opposites cancel 0. So I've got u squared plus 5u minus 6 equals 0. I'm going to factor that. Split up the u's. Bring down the first sign. The last sign is negative. That means opposite. So since we used a positive, you use a negative. and work backwards. The factors of 6 that when I subtract them equal 5 are 3, sorry about that, 6 times 1. And you got to use the biggest one first. 6 times 1. Now because it equals 0, you do opposite. So the opposite of positive 6 is negative 6, and the opposite of negative 1 is positive 1. However, you have to go back to your original denominators and see if either one of those makes the denominator equal 0. And it doesn't, because that would be the opposite of positive 7 is negative 7 and negative 3, and that's not what we got. So that means both of these are the answers. So as you can see, these take quite a bit of work, and you've got to be really careful, because if you mess up your sign in one spot, it messes the whole thing up. So my LCD is, I've got a family of y minus 7 and a family of y plus 2. So I'm going to come over here and write it down. So I'm going to write down what was there originally with extra long fraction bars to give myself space to work. Y plus 1 over y plus 2, and then minus 1. Now I'm going to put my LCD with each one of those. So y minus 7 times y plus 2, y minus 7, oops, sorry about that, y minus 7 times y plus 2, and y minus 7 times y plus 2. For the first fraction, y minus 7 on the top cancels with the y minus 7 on the bottom. So I'm left with y plus 1 times y plus 2. So square the first term, take the constants and add them. 1 plus 2 is 3. You got your y because it's in the middle. And then multiply. 1 times 2 is 2. Okay, so that's the first term. Come down here, y squared plus 3y plus 2. Next term, y plus 2 cancels with y plus 2. I got to bring down my equal sign, sorry about that. So that gives me y plus 1 times y minus 7. Square the first term. Put the constants together. 1 take away 7 is negative 6. And then multiply 1 times negative 7 is negative 7. So I have y squared minus 6y minus 7. Okay, negative 1 times this. So I've got to figure out what that is first. So y minus 7 times y plus 2. Square the first term, y squared. Negative 7 plus 2 is negative 5. Negative 7 times 2 is negative 14. But because you're multiplying by negative 1, when you multiply by negative 1, you change the signs. So I'm going to have negative y squared, a positive 5y, and a positive 14. So y squared, take away y squared, those are gone. I've got y squared plus 3y plus 2 equals negative 6y plus 5y is negative 1y, and negative 7 plus 14 is a positive 7. Now, you want to leave your squared term positive, so leave it alone. So I'm moving everything after the equal sign. So the opposite of negative 1y is positive 1y. I'm going to put that here. The opposite of positive 7 is negative 7. Put that here. So I get y squared plus 4y minus 5 equals opposites cancel 0. I'm going to split up my y's, bring down my plus sign. Because this is negative, you use the opposite sign, so negative. Factors of 5 that when I subtract them equal 4 are 5 times 1. You've got to do the biggest first. Then you do the opposites. The opposite of positive 5 is negative 5. The opposite of negative 1 is positive 1. Go back and check that against your original denominator. Negative 5 and positive 1. So the opposite of this is positive 7. The opposite of this is negative 2. We didn't get 7 or negative 2. So that means we're good. So that's the answer. my LCD on this, I've got a family of y minus 6 and I have a family of y plus 4. I'm going to rewrite the original one with extra long fraction bars and put the binomials in parentheses. So y minus 3 over y minus 6 plus 1, leave myself some space, equals extra long fraction bar y plus 6 over y plus 4. Put your LCD with each term. So y minus 6 times y plus 4, y minus 6 times y plus 4, y minus 6 times y plus 4. Y minus 6 cancels, so I've got y minus 3 times y plus 4. Square your first term. Constants negative 3 plus 4 is a positive 1y. And then multiply. Negative 3 times 4 is negative 12. Come down here. Y squared plus 1y minus 12. Okay, that takes care of that. This, I've got just a 1 there, so once I multiply that, I'll have it. Y minus 6 times y plus 4. Square the y. Negative 6 plus 4 is negative 2. And negative 6 times 4 is negative 24. So that's going to be, multiply that by 1, you get the same thing. So plus y squared minus 2y minus 24 equal sign. Y plus 4 cancels with y plus 4, so I've got y plus 6 times y minus 6. That's a difference of 2 squares, so I get y squared minus 36. Y squared minus 36. Now this y squared over here cancels with one of these. Okay, so I get y squared. For my y's, I've got 1 take away 2 is negative 1y. My constants, negative 12 and a negative 24 is a negative 36 equals negative 36. Well, look at that. Because we already talked about how if it's the exact same thing on the other side, they cancel. So I've got y squared minus 1y equals 0. So I'm going to factor a y out. So I've got y minus 1 equals 0. So when you factor a letter out, that means one of your answers is 0 because y equals 0. And then the opposite of negative 1 is positive 1. So let's go check that against our original denominators. 0 and 1 is what we got. On this, the opposite of negative 6 is positive 6. The opposite of positive 4 is negative 4. That means if we had gotten 6 or negative 4, whatever one that is, would not be part of our answer. But that's not what we got. So our final answer is 0 and 1.